KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Oh, we didn't want to throw Nick off here. We're on the other mic today. Our program is being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. My good friends Ray and Cindy and the crew invite you to come on by right across from Menards with 2 convenient drive-thrus. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way, where the 18s must go. Not a lot of them left, but they still must go. The 19s are arriving over at Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. See my good friends Greg and AJ Miller and the entire crew. They're going to put you into the vehicle of your dreams today. Platte Valley Bank, 2 banking locations. Whether you're the old-fashioned type like me or you're into the high-techno types like Nick here, well, guess what? Platte Valley Bank can appease both customers, and they do it so well all the time. Platte Valley Bank, 2 locations, Van High Avenue, and again, over on the east side at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs, see my good friend Gene and the crew over at Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, ×2, family-owned, family-operated, founded by Dick Lennox, tradition carried on by daughter Heather. Heather invites you to come on by if you need the auto or truck repaired over at the Auto and Truck Repair Center on Dunn Avenue, or if you need auto glass and detail work done, they do that over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Talk to them about their special CD rates with great annual percentage yields right now. Mondello's Pizzeria. How about Paisan cuisine at its best? Joe Mondello been doing it for a long time here. And again, Joe and Caesar and the whole gang invite you to come on over to Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Mars Plumbing Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. If the heating units are acting up, get a hold of Mars. Don't just sit there and let it break down totally. They can get it fixed before it goes all the way on the kaput. And last but not least, we want to get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. First, we go to Nick and his scoreboard.
Well, over this past weekend, it was a 2-game sweep for the Cheyenne Stampede as they picked up victories on Saturday against Steamboat Wranglers 6-3, and also 2 on Sunday in the matinee contest 4-3. So again, 2-game series sweep against the Steamboat Wranglers. At least there at the Cheyenne Ice at Event Center. We'll have more talk about that weekend series coming up tomorrow on the Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show here on 1480 KRAE. 4:30 start time with head coach Neil Breen. NHL action for tonight. Anaheim Ducks in Toronto taking on the Maple Leafs at Scotiabank Arena. New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden taking on the LA Kings. Vancouver Canucks in Philadelphia to see the Flyers at Wells Fargo Center. And the Dallas Stars in the Big D American Airlines Center hosting the Arizona Coyotes. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
On the NBA scoreboard right now, the tied for number 1 seed in the West, Denver Nuggets will face the Detroit Pistons at the Little Caesars Arena. The Atlanta Hawks will be in the Capital One Arena to take on the Washington Wizards in D.C. Bucks and the Nets in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn for this evening. Pacers and the Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Rockets and the Suns at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix. And in Sacramento at the Golden One Center, the Sacramento Kings and the San Antonio Spurs will hook up. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today for Monday afternoon. Larry Proetti along with Nick Proetti. The week that was Super Bowl week leading up to the game yesterday.
What a bore that was.
Furloughed workers getting back to work and getting paid as the government tries to put people back to work. And then a coach at LCCC was put out of work and then put back to work. So we have with us soccer coach, reinstated soccer coach, and apparently also two new men's basketball head coach as well, too, according to the paper.
According
to the newspaper. Anyway, Jim Gardner joins us. And Jim, first off, we say welcome back. And again, without throwing a lot of softball questions out either, first off, congratulations on your reinstatement. Again, a lot of folks spoke up on your behalf, and it's a testament to the job that you have done all the way from our youth to our junior collegiate program over at LCCC.
Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. Yeah, there was a lot of outpouring of support, and humbled and grateful for that.
Now, to get it from your side, and again, we have offered Athletic Director Clark Rasmussen to speak as well.
Yeah, which he respectfully declined last week.
And he declined, and we respect that. Again, things that you don't want to answer, I'm okay with that too. What led to the initial termination?
I think it was just a disagreement between Mr. Rasmussen and myself, and then it kind of went down the line to the vice president, and then from there probably to HR and lawyers and Mr. Schaefer, and from there. But it came down as a surprise. It wasn't something I was ready for or thought there was anything to do, and I'm still not sure what it's all about 100%.
This kind of disturbs me a little bit. Maybe you can go a little further on this. It was the press release that we received from the media department at LCCC, which kind of left the door open for the NJCAA to come in and look at the program.
And it was a media release that was at least handed out to us late Thursday afternoon. So again, a few days after at least the kind of newspaper report, and at least things were kind of circulating around Cheyenne. It was a few days a little too late as well too, but also too very vague.
But Jim, I want to throw this out. Is there rules violations that are involved in your program?
No, there's no rules violations at LCCC. When they put it out, I don't know if it was the best way to release it, and there were some things that could be read between the lines instead of being firm about it. I think what they wanted to do when they were thinking of going without me was to review the program and include that we were doing what we were supposed to be doing, not that they were going to call in the NJCAA. So I think there was a bit of a misinterpretation, but also maybe could have been released a little better and more clear wording maybe.
Nick?
Well, and again, going back to how vague that at least that statement was by LCCC. Again, this is coming from at least the public relations. Again, left opinions again where whatever you heard and what we heard again left very big question marks, but also too rumors were kind of circulated. I mean, what did that do to you for that week again? You probably heard those rumors or at least that assumptions of what at least why you were terminated from LCCC. But I mean, to you, I mean, did that have any emotional kind of just like emotional effects on you? I mean, what did that do, learning some of those things that were kind of circulating in town?
Yeah, it was definitely shocking at the time, the first hours afterwards and even the day. So, I was shocked, but I wasn't in shock for the whole week. And so once we got started on trying to figure out what was going on and talk to people about it, probably one of the biggest things that what you just mentioned was people thought it was egregious or something horrible that I did. And I think that you saw in the paper after we talked to Joe that it was misproperly handled. I think it was misproperly handled to the press, but I think they've also recognized their mistakes and not going to do it again, at least in that manner, and hopefully not in the near future.
Take us to the board meeting. And I know, Nick, you were at the board meeting on Friday. Again, tell us a little bit, how you got onto the Board of Trustees agenda, and also to take us a little bit of the outpouring, so to speak, that you had during this hearing. Because, again, Board of Trustees are meeting to talk about this, that, and the other thing, and all of a sudden new business came up, and it was first and foremost. So tell us a little bit about all of those actions that happened on Friday.
Well, during the week, we'd had lots of discussions between friends and I on how to handle it, things like that. And then as we got closer, I know that there was lots of calls and writings or letters or emails to the board, and I know the members got some pressure from different people around town, and players had stepped up and written and talked about it. So I think there was, why did it happen? The press was a little bit maybe leery of what was going on. The press release wasn't so good, so people were asking questions, and most of them were saying, why did it happen this way? So as we got closer, Dr. Schaefer and I got in touch with each other and sat down and talked about it, and he was very apologetic, and I thought very forthright. I had a lot of respect for the way he handled it, and as we got closer to Friday, Thursday night we did talking, and then Friday morning, and then had the board meeting. But I think the reason it got on the agenda is just because of the number of people that had talked and that it became a big issue.
Also, too, Jim, and it's like myself. I've been in town for 30-plus years, and we know a lot of people. And again, you've had a lot of youngsters go through your programs, whether it's East, and again, too, you've seen how the junior programs have worked the stings and all that, and again at LCCC. So there's a lot of folks that you have been in contact, whether it's parents, youngsters now that are grown-ups and probably still carrying on the Jim Gardner philosophy of soccer. So a lot of these people rallied behind you right away, and again, it's a matter of what was said by LCCC and your side of the story. So again, you have to be somewhat appreciative how the community rallied around your tenure at LCCC.
Yeah, it's very humbling. I think not only that, the wrestling career, teaching in the elementary, coaching at the high school. You're right, we know a lot of people, and your family's from around here, and you have so many people that you've touched or that they've touched your lives over the time. And I think that was a big pressure that came through, and I was very grateful for it. And like I said, I'm humbled by how many people stepped up and really thought about it. But after you've lived here, it would be expected that would be something.
And similar to my business, I don't look as people that are advertised, I look at them as friends because we've had relationships, for going back 30 years now. So I can relate exactly how people would come to your aid. To the family, obviously, when you got this news, it hit you like a ton of bricks, and the emotions that must have went through you and your family throughout last week.
Yeah, you can imagine that was pretty rough. I mean, you're planning on certain things in a couple of years to finish things out, and then all of a sudden one day it ends, and so pressure changes. My wife and I had a lot of discussion about what we were going to do, and it affected her and my whole family, my in-laws, my parents, my brother and sister-in-laws, my brothers. It just was a big ordeal because it's not something you expect to, and you don't want to have to explain it to them, so you have to do all the take all the time that you have to explain to your families and let them know along with everybody else.
Well, heck, at this point in time for you, Coach, or at least before that even happened, I think we're in the off season. Recruiting's kind of big right now, trying to get those signees. So again, that kind of disturbed, at least it had to take your focus away from getting players to, again, your program. Now, with this week, again, obviously it was a week's time, but obviously now you're back as head coach. But were there any ramifications felt within the women's soccer program, whether it was signees just saying, I'm not coming to LCCC anymore? I mean, was there any ramifications from what happened this past week?
I don't know if there's ramifications yet. I haven't been able to tell. I'm still talking to the people that I was talking to before. I don't know if that'll make a difference. I don't think so. But, you never know how the results are really going to be taken until later on. And I think that was part of the whole scenario was the downturn of the program that was going to happen with an interim coach coming in, myself leaving, our kids, some of them wanted to leave, new people that had signed had other opportunities to go different divisions, and there was enough time to do that. So I believe the program would have taken quite a downturn, and we're glad that that's not going to happen and we can make a smooth transition.
Jim, let me ask you this question before we take a break here. It says after the next season, not this season, the next season, you plan to step aside and retire. Was that a compromise, or was that your original plan? Because I didn't see this coming, that you were planning on retiring over the next couple of years.
Well, yeah, I was thinking the next 2-3 seasons. I mean, that's what my wife and I discussed. She's going to retire this year, and so we were thinking we'd see what it led for me. And so, yeah, I think it was a compromise, and I'm not opposed to it. Sometimes things happen, and you get done a little sooner than you thought you would, and maybe it's not all bad.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We are going to continue our conversation with newly reinstated head coach Jim Gardner of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles soccer program. We're back after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
Totally transformed, the new 2019 Kia Soul has an eye-catching exterior with an interior to match. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and the new 2019 Kia Soul has more to choose from, like available cool ventilated seats or heated seats for winter comfort. Kia Soul also has available technology like UVO, voice command navigation, automatic temperature control, and smart key with push-button start. Come by and compare Kia Soul today at Kia of Cheyenne or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Winter driving in Wyoming. Are you prepared? Winter storms strike quickly across Wyoming's high plains and the mountains. When they do, driving conditions can deteriorate rapidly and become very challenging. Make sure your vehicle is ready for the elements and you have an emergency preparedness kit available. Driving on slick roads, always remember slower speed, acceleration, steering, and braking. Also turn off the cruise control and always buckle up. Ice and snow. Take it slow. Know before you go. For travel info, call 511 or online at wyoroad.info. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in both Cheyenne and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Keystone Light or Ice, 30-pack of 12-ounce cans, $18.99. Bacardi Rum, Light, Dark, or Limon, 750 milliliter bottle, $9.99. And Dos Equis Lager, Amber, or Beers of Mexico, 12-pack of 12-ounce bottles or cans, $13.59. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, mostly sunny and breezy. Expected daytime high of 46, mostly cloudy for tonight, a low down to 22. Partly sunny for tomorrow. Expected daytime high of 46, partly cloudy Tuesday night with a low down to 19. And for Wednesday, mostly cloudy with snow showers developing. Mainly in the afternoon, look for a daytime high of only 27 degrees.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. We're talking with reinstated head coach Jim Gardner. You know, Coach, looking back on last week, and when I found out we were headed on our trip, where we had to Powell last week, and of course we didn't have the sports talk show, and we really didn't say much during our broadcast on Wednesday, but I can't even fathom what the emotions were going through. So as you were terminated, I guess my first thing would come to mind is instead of going to filling out your application for unemployment, was the thought through the mind that I need to grab some legal here and find out, hey, what recourses I may have in this?
The first thing, whenever you suffer a loss, you go through shock and then sadness and then a little bit of anger and emotions like that. So I thought about legal, but I also know what laws are, and I talk to the people that I know and trust, and I can't really fight legally, I don't think, but with pressure and help of other people, and maybe funds being withdrawn or people talking to the board, I thought maybe that's what could happen, and that's kind of what other people told me as well. But as far as legal, it never really said, I'm going to sue the college after all these years. I really didn't want to go that direction.
Now that you are back in the saddle again, matter of fact, as I chatted with you briefly on Saturday as you were bringing stuff back to your office again, the question would be, is there bitter feelings? Can a workable solution be made between you and the athletic director? Because you have to a certain degree, work hand in hand with the program.
Well, I'm a professional and they're professionals, and I think no matter how many things go wrong. I've been through it with other principals or athletic directors or staff that I've worked with over the years for a long time, and nothing's ever perfect. Sometimes you have more perfect than other and better relationships than others. But I think we can move forward in a positive way and get by and get past it.
And keep it on that theme, though, with positive again. As you mentioned, this will be your final season before at least retiring, setting off, kind of riding off into the sunset. But again, with your team, that was also too there, part of that board meeting that kind of had your backs. Again, the entire LCCC women's soccer team, again, kind of rallying around you. Is this something where, again, don't want to dwell on what happened this past week, but also, too, is it something that your team or yourself could use as a bit of a rallying cry where, hey, to send head coach Jim off into the sunset, what a better way to use this in a positive direction as a fuel to the fire, and then possibly hang up that national championship banner there in the rack for LCCC women's soccer.
Well, that's always the hope. We've had that challenge or that goal every year that we've been here is to try and do that. We've come close, but we haven't made it. So, yeah, that's a good thing. I think that the girls are excited that way. When we got the bid for the national championship, they were so grateful, and I think this is a very similar circumstance, to get them back and to have me back. We're very grateful for that opportunity. I think our off-season work is going to be just a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more step into their, the energy into their step, I should say. And I think we'll come back, and the recruits we've already signed are going to be very good. So I'm looking forward to a good future. And it's always a positive when you can play for one more thing on top of all the other things you do.
Jim, as you were back in full swing today, and again, still unpacking some boxes and stuff, but did you notice that the calm has returned to the rack and the offices there? Are the staff feeling a little more comfortable that things are functioning normally?
I do think so. I don't know if it's normal, but it's quiet, and there's no uproars or there's no one coming to me and say, oh, you stuck it to them or whatever. I think everybody's a professional there and ready to be able to handle what's coming on. And I think they'll turn forward and do a great job like they always do.
If lessons were learned out of this, in your case, what would be the lesson learned?
That's a good one. I think as far as I'm concerned, being able to maybe read things a little better than what I did, so maybe I know something's coming. I think as far as college is concerned, maybe a way the policy's written so that people aren't just summarily dismissed without a reason or purpose with no chance to, do an improvement plan or change the way they're doing things. I think maybe those two things. So hopefully we've hoped that help the policy possibly change. That's what I've been told, and it'll help other people as well.
My question would be upon retirement, and again, I hope you reconsider that as well too, but that being said, will you at least have a hand in looking at the next LCCC women's soccer coach?
Well, that would be completely up to the athletic director and what direction he wants to go. That's something they've talked about, but it depends on who's at the top and what kind of person they want. And right now, I'm not sure if that'll happen, if they really want that to be my input or if they want to go their own way.
And I'll carry off of that, though, again, at least not being on that pedestal, or at least kind of being that right-hand guy to at least suggest a head coach for LCCC. But as you are retired from the program, no longer head coaching for LCCC women's soccer, do you kind of foresee yourself being maybe an advisor to the team, or at least maybe being a helping hand, but not so much in that coaching role for the next head coach?
And that would depend on who the head coach is. Like with Becky, at East, we talk all the time and we've got a close relationship. And, I don't put my hand into it, but Becky and I talk all the time. So if it was something like that, yeah, I could see it. But most of the time, it's going to be somebody come in and want to do what they want to do and maybe even break away from what I've been doing and get away from that legacy or, history that they can make their own.
Nick mentioned this before we went to the break, and I want to expand on it a little bit. How do you, and Becky, again, your assistant coach, how do you restabilize the program? Because, I'm sure, obviously, throughout the U.S., the 48 contiguous U.S. states, Alaska, Hawaii, everybody's going, what the hell's going on in Cheyenne, Wyoming at LCCC? How do you two show the potential recruits, moms and dads, the stability is back in the program, and not just for the year until you retire, but again, that stability is back within the LCCC women's soccer program.
Well, that's definitely going to be a challenge. I mean, when you go out, you don't go out and tell, hey, when I come to LCCC, I'm going to retire in a year. You come out with a more positive approach that, yeah, I may be retiring, but we're going to give everything we've got this year. The reputation's still going to be there. You're going to have chances to move on, and we'll make it a positive experience while we can. And I don't think, continuity-wise, as far as Rebecca and I moving in and moving forward, it's going to be the same old, and we're going to work just as hard as we ever have. But, there will be a challenge to recruit the kids. Maybe high-level kids would choose another school, but there's always opportunities, so I think we'll be okay.
And let's talk about recruiting real quick. How many recruits are available to you for scholarships?
Well, we have a total of 24 that we can sign. Now, I don't have 24 full rides. We have a pool of money that I divide up and give to kids, but I have 24 that we can have on scholarship and then whatever walk-ons.
And how many have committed verbally or have actually signed to participate?
Well, we're about at 20 right now, and so we've got a team and ready to go. And I'm looking for a couple more players to fit into the slots that I need. A forward position, a midfield position, and I think those will come. We're talking to a couple right now, but as the year goes, I always leave money open because we pick up kids almost annually late in the year.
Nobody's backed out.
No, nobody's backed out. And if they wanted to, I'd let them go. But I think everybody's still on the same page, and I haven't heard that yet.
Well, that's good to hear because, again, as soccer, at least season, approaching very quickly, and, again, looking forward to it. As always, again, a team that is usually in the top 25 in the nation in NJCAA Division I, a team that does compete and go on to the national tournament as well. Looking forward to this season as well, too.
So, Jim, as we thank you for coming in, appreciate your open candor on all of this. And, again, a trying week for all sides. We're not going to just say, hey, it was Jim Gardner and everybody else, because obviously the athletic director Clark Rasmussen, he went through a lot of of everything that went on from the firing to the reinstatement. So I guess my final thought would be to you. What would you like to say to our listening audience as we wrap things up, as you get ready to continue on with your coaching career at LCCC?
I'd just like to say thanks to everyone. I've got a lot of friends and family and players and people that I've coached and taught over the years, and they were very, very complimentary, and I was humbled. And I'm so grateful for all that, to be able to have had so many friends and players and know that they you might have touched or their life, and they certainly touched mine.
All righty, Coach. Well, we thank you so much, and we'll see you around the offices because they still let us come in there and do a couple of basketball games
every once in a
time
while.
to time.
Yeah,
all righty, Coach Jim Gardner joined us here on 1480 KRAE. We appreciate his openness to talk with us. And again, we have offered and we have opened the forum to the athletic director.
And again, that offer still stands.
And he's more than welcome to come on in and chat with us as well, too. And feel free to pick up the phone or get in touch with Nick any way, shape, or form. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back with more after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI FM and 1480 KRAE AM, are just that, local. Serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 KRAE.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Let First Education Federal Credit Union help make buying your next car a breeze. At First Education, you get competitive rates and deal with friendly local folks. Be in control by getting pre-approved and know what you have to spend before going to the dealer. Call 432-7400, go to firstedfcu.com, or visit us in person at 120 West Carlson Street with approved credit, membership eligibility required, federally insured by NCUA.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, mostly sunny and breezy. Expect a daytime high of 46, mostly cloudy for tonight, a low down to 22. Partly sunny for tomorrow. Expect a daytime high of 46, partly cloudy Tuesday night with a low down to 19. And for Wednesday, mostly cloudy with snow showers developing. Mainly in the afternoon, look for a daytime high of only 27 degrees.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti along with Nick Perotti. Thank you again to newly reinstated head coach Jim Gardner of
Head
the
coach of what?
LCCC soccer program.
Again, I
Women's
assume he's
program.
the men's basketball program. But
No, the paper.
Sorry, I've had my phone. I've had my phone.
Cut the paper some slack.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Anyway,
they make mistakes. We make mistakes. All right. I don't want them hammering on us when we make a mistake, and that would be me especially.
I was gonna say maybe you.
But again,
either way, though,
I want to thank head coach for Jim Gardner for coming in. As you know, you look back on what happened last week, and again, not going to get too opinionated on it. Yeah. And again, too, I don't know any of our listeners want to chime in. That's fine too. 514-1071, 307-514-1071. But I think Coach was very expressive to all of us of his emotions, his thankfulness for people rallying around what he has done.
Well,
and again,
and it wasn't just a select few. It seemed like it was in the entire community, at least coming up in Jim's defense. And again, at that board meeting, there were at least one entity that did speak up for him. The entire team showed up. Again, also to a few friends as well that came out in support of Coach Gardner there. So, and again, could only imagine the amount of emails that were sent across to various board members, if not the president, maybe even to 180 Clark Rasmussen. So, again, I don't think it was just a select few. It felt like the entire community tried to rally around Jim Gardner, and again, it certainly did work. Again, reinstated for one season, and again, we'll ride off into the sunset after this final season. And again, something that at least the one question that I asked about him of, talking about emotion, talking about turning it into a positive, you wonder though, again, his current athletes and those who are going to be joining the program as well too have, again, it's social media, whether it's me tweeting it out, whether it's representatives of the paper tweeting it out, or whoever. Again, it's out there for folks to see and kind of follow into all of this. You just wonder, though, for those student athletes, and it was a question that I just kind of formulated of, is this something that you can kind of foresee of your student athletes turning it into a positive, kind of using that as a motivational factor of saying, hey, coach, this is your final year. They try to do that to you. You're back with us. Let's give one back to you. Let's finally get you that potential championship. And again, as coaches mentioned, and something that we've talked about, he's been on that cusp many times. He's gotten to that national tournament many times there. Again, many of those banners that at least fly there in the rack say women's soccer, whether it's Region 9 champions or, again, national tournament bids for the women's soccer. You just wonder if this is something that could be a very good – it is something that – goes from bad and turns into a very good positive possibly for this team. I know as me, again, as a former athlete as well, yeah, I think that would be a great motivational factor to kind of have a mantra essentially of heading into the season of, hey, let's do this for you.
Well, I think about one Peyton Manning, how they helped him ride off into the sunset too, you know, on his final season. But, you know, the thing is, too, and this is what bothers me, and I do throw this out to the media department at LCCC right now.
Yeah.
Either learn how to write or don't be putting things out in written form where guys like me who have been in media for 40-plus years, and I'm from the old school of who, what, where, when, miscellaneous, where I'm reading and I'm thinking, did this guy commit an infraction? Because the way it read, it sounded like, well, we got the NJCAA coming in.
It read of what is happening currently at the University of Missouri, where, again, NCAA regulations have kind of barred that, at least athletic program out there for the Mizzou Tigers. It kind of read like that of, are we going to see something that's going to have implications for women's soccer or possibly LCCC in general of what is kind of an NJCAA infraction? It did bring up those questions.
Right.
And I think, again, not to take jabs at that, at least.
I'm not jabbing. I'm very upset with it.
And I think we're both on that same vein as well, too, of saying the smartest thing to do in that situation was just to be honest, open and honest of why this happened, and not hide away. Not try to sneak around at least kind of the edges and corners of going, well, we fired him, but it's for this very, very vague reason.
That's what bothers me.
Actually, it wasn't even a reason. They just went, well, he's let go, and then we're going to bring in the NJC to kind of at least take a look at possible infraction.
This is the man's career we're talking about. We're talking about his reputation.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what, again,
and I think that falls on kind of the media relations out there. It also, too, falls apart, again, administration in the athletic department as well, too.
That's sensationalizing that firing, and I don't like that.
No.
And again,
it's not good as well, too, again, as Cheyenne, a fairly decent-sized city again here, 60-plus thousand, but it is still a kind of a small-knit community where folks...
bedroom community, absolutely.
again, where folks do talk about and spread stuff, and again, it's something that we talked off air, or at least I want to give precedent to Jim, of just saying the things that I was hearing out and about, because, again, folks... At least us being in the media, people trying to pry in, not going to give them anything, but they were trying to pry in of, well, I heard this about Jim. I heard this is why he got fired. I heard this. And again, it was from minor to very extreme accusations of why he got fired. Or again, because again, the school, for whatever reason, LCCC, the media department, and the athletics department were vague. They were kind of quote unquote spineless almost to not give us the truth and be honest of what happened.
Well,
and again, it could have damaged his reputation. It could have damaged his life. Of again, some of the stuff that was being tossed out there.
That's right.
Could have altered his legacy, so to speak.
Well, and the good news is, though, that his reputation was preserved.
Oh, yeah.
And also, too, it speaks volumes with the board and the president of the institution.
I give kudos to at least President Joe Schaefer for what again standing up for Coach Gardner, again giving that opportunity and reinstated him. And Jim showed his respects in that board meeting on Friday of saying, "Hey, Joe, I appreciate it. Thank you very much of what you did. Again, sitting down with him personally and giving him at least that opportunity to come back and not tarnish his reputation.
And hopefully, with the conclusion of our conversation, this will, put a wrap on this. Again,
I think the
door is still open for the athletic director.
Yeah.
I think he wants this to go away as well.
Yeah.
I haven't really spoken with him much about it.
Yeah.
And again, but I'm venturing to say that he would like to see this thing just, it should have never happened in the first place.
Absolutely, but it is a knock against his kind of reputation and legacy.
He's trying to build. He's trying to build his reputation and legacy within the.
I would be honest.
Athletic department.
Be open and honest. It's probably soured at this point again across the community of what happened. Again, that was not someone who is again, as we talked last week, talking today as well. Again, Coach Gardner is very respected around town.
And the athletic director is the new kid in town.
And it's not even just town. It's even across the NJC Region 9.
The AD's the new kid in town. Nobody really knows much about him, per se.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to get out and about and do his thing within the community, but he's still a relative unknown.
Yeah.
And again, you got the unknown going up against the known commodity.
Yeah.
And, whether they butt heads or not, we don't know the full picture, and I don't want to know now. I really don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because like I said, once we're done here, we put it to bed. But the thing
once we're done here, we focus on women's soccer.
But the thing that concerns me now is the atmosphere, and we have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because
we're on the inside of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're there. We're part of the athletic program.
We'll be there Wednesday. We'll be there Saturday.
So again, I would hope that personal feelings get pushed aside. And that's where I'm at. Business can be conducted. Because I got to tell you, Nick, and you know this, not just Dad talking to you. Mm-hmm. I've been an owner, which I am now. Yeah. I've been a general manager. Mm-hmm. I've been a program director. I've been a program director where I was told to do the dirty work for the general manager because he was gutless and spineless.
Yeah.
It's a guy in town that I had to do his dirty work for him. As a general manager, I had to, release people. But I also had to let them know why they were being released.
Yeah. I think that's the right thing to do. Again, be open and honest and saying, hey, this is why. And again, not let people speculate, not people run rumors about throughout the town of why this happened.
And you try to, out of the respect for that person, because
I think Jim deserves that respect.
I know, but the first and foremost thing that I had to do, I don't go run around and tell everybody, hey, so-and-so's going bye-bye today. Yeah. Didn't do that. It was like, and I'll use you. Hey, Nick, I need you to step into my office right now. Mm-hmm. And then you have to explain, ABC, we need to go another direction because of this. Or, hey, you've committed, whatever.
Well,
I try to be honest with.
But also, too, you don't go straight to a firing. It would also, too, be fair to in that situation as well.
You write them up for some.
Well, if you have issues, and again, if it's minor, or if you see something that is kind of glaring out there of, I believe in that kind of 3-strike policy of saying, well, here's strike one, but this is what you need. Kind of, let's learn from your history not to repeat that history. Again, let's give it to you now, saying, all right, we know about this. Don't let it happen again, and move on.
Well,
talk out your differences, get on the same page, and then just move on.
In my files, I could, and I won't do that because they're locked up. But in my files, I have issued out letters of reprimand before for whatever the case may be. So if it were you, Nick, and again, I got to use you as an example because I'm talking to you.
Great.
I gave you a letter of reprimand. I'm giving you a warning. Yeah. Hey, don't do it again or you could be terminated. And it will say in that letter, this is what you did, the infraction, and I don't want this to happen again. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I'm kind of probably the easiest going guy to work for, where you could nod your head, but I am. I let some things pass from time to time, but I also will at the proper time.
You'll let whoever know, or at least when they need to be.
That's right. At the proper time and a proper place.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this could have been handled so much differently, and if it is personality conflicts, then, like your mother used to say to me years ago, get over it.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Coach and athletic director, because really the athletic director is the boss of the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So that athletic director needs to, again, and really what he should be doing is having all of the coaches together,
have a sit-down,
have a good meeting, and let's air out everything.
Yeah, make it an open, just kind of
an open forum.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Of saying, hey,
and
if you got issues here, let me know. What can I change about what I'm doing? What are you doing that is annoying me, or so to speak?
And the athletic director should
that back and forth kind of rapport.
The athletic director should stand up before his coaches and say, "Hey guys, I screwed up.
I apologize. I messed up.
Let's start the slate clean.
Yeah.
And hi, my name is so and so, and I am your new athletic director. Here's what I envision for the programs.
Yeah.
That's what he needs to do. And he doesn't have to be buddy with each individual coach.
Nah.
Never going to happen.
No.
So anyway, that's just my opinion. That's one person's opinion. And again, Coach Gardner, good to have you back. It was good to see you Saturday. And again, just a few minutes I had a chance to chat with him as he was carrying boxes back into his office. All right, 3:51 hour time. Sad note to report.
As I say, we can't take one more break. But,
No. I have a sad note. You can't relate to this. No. I can't.
I know what you're about to go on, but I no idea who the individual was.
Irv Brown. Again, us older folks. And again, I first met up with Irv Brown back in 1983 when I came to Colorado and I was working in Sterling, and he was down in Denver. He, for many years, was on KHOW, KHOW, and he was partnered, Joe Williams, that's who it is, the Irv and Joe show. They used to do a sports talk show. Very popular. I remember Irv Brown as a WAC official. He came up and did some basketball games with the, for the University of Wyoming Cowboys. All spoke highly of Wyoming basketball and football. Irv Brown, again, into the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame in 1997. He was inducted. Let's see, I think he retired about 2016 just because health issues. But again, how old was he? 83 years old. Passing away. Matter of fact, it was yesterday when Irv Brown passed away. But again, we're talking a career that spans 40 years.
Yeah.
And again, he was an icon down there in the Mile High City. 3:52 hour time. We want to do Super Bowl. What do you want to do?
We certainly could. Again, talking about that pathetic Super Bowl and one of the lowest scoring in Super Bowl history. Complete bore.
Why is it a complete bore?
I checked out of the NFL at this point in time, and I had no interest of even watching that game.
Why do you call that game a complete bore? I was asked yesterday. About 4 or 5 friends of mine that I was together with.
You have friends?
Yeah, I actually have more than you. And they all asked me, who's going to win? And I said,
I don't care.
I said New England at least by a touchdown. I felt New England has been there, did it, done it. You had Jared Goff, who was the young kid on the block, has not gone through this experience.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady
was a part of a powerhouse team throughout this entire season of the LA Rams, and again, the highest scoring, at least most potent offense of all NFL, taking on one Tom Brady. Where again, the Patriots, even with them winning at least the Super Bowl as they are now, again, you can say they are the best team in the NFL, but I still don't think so. Even in that championship game, I still thought Kansas City was a much better team. I envisioned it was going to be Kansas City versus L.A. in the Super Bowl. Again, got half of the teams at that point in time, but not one point in time in this entire season did I say the Patriots were the best team in the NFL. Right. I always held high regard to Kansas City. Again, it was also led by, as I called it, your MVP, Patrick Mahomes. I thought New Orleans was a better team. And I think they still are. I think New Orleans probably, if fortunes change or if things happen in that NFC Championship game, if they were to compete against the Patriots, I think we'd be seeing a different contest.
Well, New Orleans was their own worst enemy, especially in the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And
either way, though, again, you can speculate. Again, that's always fun and dandy to do, but my point is, though, with the New England Patriots, there was not one point in time this season where I go, yeah, they are the best team in football right now. They're the best team in all of NFL that is going to be your Super Bowl champions. I did not think that. And again, there were much more worthier candidates of what we were seeing throughout the entire regular season, whether it was Kansas City, whether it was, I'll even dare say, the Chargers, New Orleans, LA Rams. But the Patriots, though, kind of not so much shocked me, but yes, it's very interesting in what they did, especially against the LA Rams. A potent offense that only puts up a pathetic 3 points.
Well, here's the deal.
Jared Goff, one INT.
Yeah, but Jared Goff I think most of last night throwing off the back of his heel. You're not going to get a lot of passes completed.
Absolutely. I think the glaring stat of what I saw from the Super Bowl yesterday was, I think, a third of the plays went for either 0 or negative yards for both teams cumulatively. That's
well, but here's the deal, though. The thing that you found out about the New England Patriots, I probably watched more of the post-game show than I did of the actual game, because I know a couple of the
I checked out.
It was a snooze fest. I agree with you, because I felt this was going to be a higher offensive scoring game, and it wasn't.
Well, I figured out of the Rams more so,
But you look back on all of this, and again, the one thing that is consistent with the Patriots, they
win.
They don't panic.
Yeah.
There's continuity within the locker room. This is what gets you championships. Same with the Warriors, and I'll put that in the same retrospect. They did not panic when they were 2-3. After the bye, they had the one loss to Miami, but they did not panic. And nobody was getting down on each other.
I don't think anyone was really panicking. Again, you know what Tom Brady can do with a Patriots.
But I'm saying there was no backbiting.
No.
Everybody was on the same page. They all trusted each other. And again, and it also goes back to what Clay Thompson said. Hey, you got a better team out there that can beat us, go for it.
Yeah.
Same. That's what the Patriots say to you every year. You got a better team out there, try to beat us.
And I don't knock the Patriots. I don't knock Alabama or again, any of those kind of powerhouses that you see. It's, again, hey, the rest of the league, rest of the NFL, NBA, NHL, whatever it may be, step up, get better, get on our level so you can dethrone us at this point. And so far, again, no team, especially in the entirety of the 2000s, have been more dominant than the New England Patriots. Again, picking up their 6th Super Bowl, now tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers for most all time.
And you're talking about ownership similar to when Eddie DiBartolo had the San Francisco 49ers, the Rooneys that still have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mm-hmm. But you're looking at the Kraft family that owns the Patriots. And like you said,
that invested, that again believed that they love this team. They are, again, they breathe Patriots. They've done everything to make it the destination in the NFL of where you want to play for us.
I mean, they built that stadium, Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, for that sleepy little town.
Yeah.
It's not Boston, it's Foxborough. And what they have done with this franchise in 2 decades, yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are a football dynasty. And whether you like it or not, and whether Tom Brady comes back and plays, and I think he will be back another year, they're going to be back somewhere near the top again next year. Even though Kansas City, I understand, is the favorite to possibly win the AFC next year.
They should, I would hope. But I think for the Patriots, it's not a question of, are we questioning that they are a dynasty? No, that is out the window. It was out the window years ago. But right now for the Patriots, it's kind of, they're in the question mark of, is it the best franchise of all time at this point in time? Are the Patriots there? And I think they have a very worthy, if not, you could say yes, of what they're doing right now. The Patriots are the best franchise possibly of all time. Again, with 6 Super Bowls, they've done it here in a 19-year span of gathering all of them. And again, Patriots, even in their kind of previous years, have been at least had some success, not to the level that they are seeing now. But again, it's not been, hey, the Patriots are a sweep-away team, essentially, like a Browns franchise of like, ugh.
And then you throw in a Bill Belichick into the equation where
now you ask is he the greatest head coach of all time?
He's going to be up there, but right now with championships, he's won as many as George House, Papa Bear, Curly Lambeau, and then he's just passed the likes of Vince Lombardi.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about, again, my generation. obviously can relate to the George Hallases of the world, the Vince Lombardis, Curly Lambeau before my time. But again, I'm from, like you, the Bill Walsh era.
Yeah.
Is Bill Walsh one of the greatest football minds of all time?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is Bill Parcells? I could put him in for the argument. I could put a Mike Shanahan in there. But from a winning standpoint, Bill Belichick, he's got 8 of these rings now.
Yeah.
He's got 2 from Parcells when he was on his staff. But the thing about Bill Belichick, you want to talk about stability within the organization. There it is. And look, he loses a guy like Matt Patricia to the Detroit Lions to be a head coach. I mean, follow me on this. He loses him to be the head coach, but he brings in another defensive coordinator, steps in, and look what they did.
Well, and that's even on the same with the field of where you have it's kind of your general of Bill Belichick. He can move those personnel and be fine. He's been doing it for how many years of saying, all right, well, hey, McDaniels, you're going out to Denver now, have fun. You're losing this piece, you're losing that piece. Same with Tom Brady and the offense, or at least the Patriots in general of the team of going, well, hey, you have Randy Moss. Well, now he's going to be gone, and now you're going to pick up Edelman, and now he's here.
You got Amendola. You pick up an Amendola.
Again, yeah, you just swap out those pieces. He's still successful at this point.
Well, and also, too, he said something very listening to him last night talking to Boomer, which I was glad to see back on ESPN, along with Steve Young and, as you mentioned, Randy Moss. The one thing that he said that was very poignant last night is that talking about preparing for the Rams. And he said he actually watched the Detroit Rams game to get, some pieces. And don't you think he was on the phone to Matt Patricia, talking to them, saying, hey, what did you guys do here, and how did you set this up? Don't you think that he's got that open lines of communications with his former coaches?
Yeah.
So, again, you do rank Bill Belichick up there amongst the elite coaches of the National Football League. But now he's still got more to come.
Well, yeah, but I think right now it is a fair question to ask for Bill Belichick. Is he the best football mind of all time at this point? And I think there's an absolute great case in favor of him.
In the 21st century, he is the best football mind.
I would just, not even the 21st. I mean, again, could he be considered of all time, again, one of the best football minds?
He will be in that top 5 discussion forever. But in the 21st century, it's all his right now.
Because we can already sweep away Brady. Yeah, we know. He's got 6 rings. Yeah, I'll admit, yeah, he's better at this point than Montana, better than Bradshaw. He's better than Peyton Manning. He is the forefront best quarterback of all time. In the history of NFL, AFL,
I don't like playing those games. What bothers me
because,
but you gotta. No, I know. It's great discussion.
Yeah.
But I saw Joe Montana. And I saw how cool Joe Montana was under pressure.
Cool. Yeah.
And then you look at Terry Bradshaw with those great Steeler teams. Terry Bradshaw didn't put up the greatest numbers, but when it came to the Super Bowl stage, he was at his best. Yes, Tom Brady is a great quarterback as well, too. Greatest of all time, you want to give him the GOAT label, great. But again,
it's just fun discussions at this point in time.
I know, but
it's better discussions than discussing what actually happened on the field.
And it's unfortunate that some of our
I think also too another discussion as we need to get to the top of the hour also too is did the Super Bowl hurt the NFL? Did last night's game kind of detract more fans of the NFL after seeing that kind of performance? Again, the lowest scoring Super Bowl in history.
But you know what? The referees weren't the final decision of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I think fans at this point in time they don't enjoy the low scoring affairs. They don't like those tight knit 3-point. You want to see offense. You want to see these two.
The way it's built now, it's built for offense. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the question that I kind of at least was ranking through my mind is did that Super Bowl last night hurt the NFL more than it helped the NFL? Again, how many people are now going to go, I'm just done?
If anything, that Super Bowl hurt yesterday were the Los Angeles Rams.
They'll be back.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have a brief discussion more about Super Bowl LIII after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
We are jumping into hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by some fine folks. Mars Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. First Tier Bank, right across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Lennox Auto Body, ×2. The Auto and Truck Repair Center with a plethora of bays over on Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank, ×2. The original location on Vanda High and the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, your home for Jayco, RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and some special pricing even during the winter months over there on Highway 30. And, of course, we want to thank Taco John's, where you'll find loaded potato olays, 6-pack at £1. How about mañana? It's Taco Tuesday when we get to Tuesday tomorrow. Taco John's of Cheyenne. And we also want to thank Pepsi of Cheyenne, which sponsors our scoreboard. Let's get into our scoreboard with the Nixter.
From this past weekend, Cheyenne Stampede at home at the Isid Event Center on Friday. It was a close one, but it was a loss in favor of Northern Colorado Eagles 4-3. But however, on Saturday and Sunday, they played host to the Steamboat Wranglers. Again, this was all part of the Cancer Awareness Series this past weekend. It was a series sweep against the Steamboat Wranglers as Cheyenne Stampede on Saturday defeated them 6-3, and on Sunday's matinee contest defeated the Wranglers 4-3. So again, a series sweep over the Wranglers this past weekend. So again, congratulations to Cheyenne Stampede, and we will have more, at least discuss it, tomorrow, 4:30 here on Wyoming Sports Talk Today with head coach Neil Breen and a potential player on the Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show. NHL action for tonight. Toronto Maple Leafs playing host to the Ducks of Anaheim at Scotiabank Arena. New York Rangers in Madison Square Garden playing host to the LA Kings. Vancouver Canucks travel to Philadelphia to see the Flyers. And the Dallas Stars at American Airlines Center playing host to the Arizona Coyotes. That's what's happening NHL action for tonight.
NBA scoreboard. Nothing going on right now, but the Nuggets and the Pistons will match up at the Little Caesars Arena in Motown. Nuggets tied with the Golden State Warriors right now exactly at 37-15 for the number 1 spot in the Western Conference.
I think Golden State's happy to concede that number 1 spot, especially if you saw the press conference with Steve Kerr. He'd rather spend time in San Diego than coach the All-Star game, at least All-Star team.
Hawks will be at the Wizards at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Bucks and the Nets at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Pacers and the Pelicans in the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. It will be the Suns hosting the Rockets at the Talking Stick Resort Arena. And the Sacramento Tomato Kings, they will be in the Golden One Center in Sacramento entertaining the San Antonio Spurs. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 4.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today, where for the 6th time in the 21st century, the New England Patriots are the NFL champions.
Yippee for them.
Now, going back, again, the big losers you were mentioning before we went to the top of the hour was the National Football League. I think the big losers are the Rams. I don't know. This is a defeat. No, this is a defeat where everybody...
It's a young team.
If you go look at the money that was thrown at the Rams yesterday...
All right. A team out of Los Angeles where you have franchises that are willing to spend millions, if not billions, on everything. Again, the Rams, who will be playing in a brand new $1 billion stadium.
But the Rams drew a lot of money.
And they're going to.
And
they have a young
off-season moves.
Guess what? that off-season moves got them to a Super Bowl. It's still a young team. I don't go. Oh,
I think it's a young team with a very fragile ego. I really, and again, you have
insane.
I'm telling you, I don't know if they're going to be able to bounce back from this loss.
You're completely out. It's a young team led by one Jared Goff.
And again,
they know what they're doing. Again,
and you're going to
look at this team of what they've done. Again, where they had a rough go of it last year in the playoffs. Came back, dominated this season. It wasn't anything of going completely, 16-0, but again, dominated the NFL ranks, especially on the NFC side. Again, even next season in the NFC West, maybe Seattle might be a contender. Who knows what's going to happen with the 49ers? But I think it's going to be probably not as easy route to the playoffs out of the NFC West for the Rams, but I still think they are the top dog.
Again, out of the NFC West, where you'll have your 6 games with the Niners, Seahawks, and Cardinals. And then you got 10 other games. And again, having the championship of the NFC, you're going to have the toughest schedule. They're going to throw the toughest schedule, and you're going to have one of the lowest first-round draft picks. Okay.
Well, even if you looked at their kind of schedule rankings for this season, it wasn't that easy for them. It wasn't.
Guess what? It's going to get even tougher next season. Then you look at a team like the Niners, who fell on hard times because of all the injuries.
Well, they're going to
have a much easier schedule, except for the West.
Yeah.
And then they are going to have a very top draft pick, and then the pieces that were injured are coming back.
Yeah.
Hopefully and successfully. Where the Niners will be, again, the whole idea of the National Football League goes back not before this idiot Goodell, but back around Paul Tagliabue's era, where he wanted, parity.
Well, you're getting.
He wanted 9-7 to win your division. He wants 8-8 to make the playoffs.
Well, and you've had that before where, again, look at the lowest seed, a team that's done it out of New York with the Giants, where, again, coming in as the wild card spot and eventually dethroning these Patriots kind of dynasty led by one Tom Brady. So we've seen it happen. Again, look what happened. The Rams, who have been a joke for however long, made it to the Super Bowl. Again, even where they were as the St. Louis Rams to even getting their times at least with the LA Rams, they drafted well. They got their offseason moves, and here they are. They won the NFC Championship. They were in the Super Bowl, and again, the future looks continually bright for them. It's kind of like saying, Kansas City, they're going to have a rough go of it, and I don't believe, led by one MVP, Patrick Mahomes, that they're just going to collapse and go bye-bye in the AFC West.
No. Do I look right now?
I think LA and Kansas City in respective leagues, they're still going to be there in that probably championship game next year.
Could be. I would think Kansas City has a better shot being at the AFC Championship game than I believe the Rams will be in the NFC Championship.
Again, going forward of looking where these teams are at, how they are built, again, what they do in the offseason. Again, it's two very young teams led by very young quarterbacks who have shown great potential. And right now, they are still, in my opinion, of what I thought was going to be the Super Bowl, can potentially be next Super Bowl. It's Kansas City and LA. I think they are two. Even with the Patriots winning, I still believe that Kansas City and LA heading into next season are the best teams in both leagues.
Do you believe that a lot of teams last night were focused on the Rams offense, which is a high-powered gang?
I think if anything, you look at essentially what the Patriots defense did against that LA Rams offense,
and the defense
try to emulate that.
Exactly, and again, I think the Rams got hurt worse by that loss last night and only scoring 3
I don't
points.
think it's gonna take their legs out beneath them, so to speak, of going, well, with that loss, now they tumble down to the worst team in the league.
Didn't say they're going to be the worst team. I think they still have all the players. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think they're going to be that major force.
No, I don't think they have a dominant season of what they did. I think that was a one-time thing here. But I think next season they might subtract 2 wins, possibly. Again, possibly losing that, a few to the Niners, a few to the Seahawks as well. It's a team that's going to make the playoffs, but it's not going to have a tremendous season of what it was this year for them.
Okay.
But I still think it is a team that is still deserves respect. It's still a team that is going to be there, set and done. Where right now,
and I'm not going to argue on that. I think you got a valid point. Again, look at a team like Philadelphia. Super Bowl. Well, they're a flash in the pan.
I thought you were talking about next season. It's like
no.
Who knows what the Eagles?
But you look like a Super Bowl champion. They were nowhere near the championship game this year. They dropped off the face of the earth.
Well, they made it to the playoffs, but
do I think the Rams make the playoffs next year? Absolutely. How far they go? I don't know. I really don't know.
I believe, though, with Kansas City and L.A., it would not surprise me if either of them are in the championship games next year. Now, are they in the Super Bowl? We'll see. New Orleans might surprise them. Again, still hold hopes that maybe San Francisco can make some waves. Chicago, who knows what the Bears? Again, with the slip up again, they lost on just a wacky field goal. But who knows what the Bears are going to be like next season?
Well, we'll see. Again, we'll find out here in April how teams are going to be positioning themselves for the draft.
Football's done finally. So.
Not really done.
Why?
Because
we got the spring league.
Well, no, there's a team in the Bay Area right now that doesn't have a place to play next season.
They do. It's been official.
Well, it's not here. Not according to this. It's not official.
I saw it. All indications are showing that the Oakland Raiders are going to become the San Francisco Raiders and play at the new Oracle Park, or at least formerly known as AT&T Park, home of the San Francisco Giants. So that bodes so well for the Giants, who now have to adjust to, again, altering that terrain, especially in September, where can only hope, fingers crossed, the Giants are in playoff contention.
And the Raiders are used to it. They're used to the skin infield.
Well, guess what? The Giants aren't.
Yeah, well, their field's going to get...
And this is worse for the Giants. And why that brass didn't just say, hey, Raiders, go find your own place, get out of here. You could have simply enough gone down to Santa Clara, go play where the Niners are playing right now, try to figure that out. Kind of similar situation to the Jets, Giants of just swapping out that. I get that, hey, it's a little tough on the signage there at Levi's, where, again, those are imprinted in the side of 49er stuff. But, hey, again, with Oakland not working with you, with the Coliseum kicking you out, hey, Raiders, beggars can't be choosers at this point. But, again, Cal, Stanford, you could play at Fresno. You could play at Stanford for all I care.
I would agree with you on Stanford Stadium because it's bigger. I think that would have been the better choice.
I'm just saying, there's many other opportunities, but instead you have to go across the bay to, again, San Francisco, where, again, those fans are 49er fans and are not going to attend your games. You're forcing your Oakland fans to travel across, across the
Bay Bridge. It's it's only a 20-minute. Well, by their traffic standards, about a half hour.
Yeah, but still, though, it's bringing unnecessary traffic to, again, a very tight and compact downtown.
But the Bay Area Rapid Transit does drop you off at Oracle.
Oh, great.
See, here's what happened.
But this is stupid.
No,
this is dumb.
Yeah, with the Raiders, and again too, you look at Old Candlestick Park is gone.
Well, yeah, that's demolished.
Old Kezar Stadium is gone.
You're not playing at Kezar.
No, I'm just saying. But again,
not an NFL franchise.
These things are not available to the Raiders.
If anything, the smart thing for the Raiders at this point in time is just leave the Bay at this point, because again, right now
where are you going to go?
You go to Vegas. You go play where UNLV.
Or Sam Boyd?
Yeah, you go play at Sam Boyd. Get ready for Vegas again, where next year it's a transition into your brand new stadium. You get out in front of your locals there in Las Vegas and Henderson, again, that metro area. Let them see your team as much as it's not going to draw big crowds to Sam Boyd.
And I may agree with you on this. You may have a point, simply for the fact, if you're a season ticket holder of the Raiders right now, Okay?
They're going bye-bye no matter what.
Well, no, but if you're a season ticket holder, I don't know how many seats they're going to have at Oracle as opposed to the Coliseum. How many seats are going to be at Oracle during baseball? It's 43,000.
Well,
I think it was 48,000
what we've seen
for the
of
Raiders.
Former, at least, kind of football games being played at AT&T Park or Oracle Park now, where they don't even bring in bleachers or anything. It's pretty much those stands. That's where you're sitting, and that's all you get right now there at Oracle Park. I think, again, for the Raiders and something that we've discussed even before this all kind of collapsed in front of the Raiders, I think it's best for them just to move to Sam Boyd, get accustomed to Las Vegas, get in front of those new fans.
But I think the seating at Sam Boyd, if I'm not mistaken,
it's not the greatest.
It's like about 32,000, 35,000.
Guess what? You got to deal with it then. Well, for the Raiders, again, like I said,
this is dollars lost. They don't want to lose any money.
Beggars can't be choosers at this point for the Oakland Raiders at this point, or whatever the hell they're going to be.
And what the Raiders are doing here with San Francisco, they're trying to find somewhere that
you can't go to Berkeley. That's just north of you in Oakland.
Cal, I don't know if Cal will let them in. Well, I don't know if there's a thing for Stanford too. Why they can't let them in at Stanford? I thought of that right away. Because Stanford holds, I think, like 72,000 or something to the fan. But here's the deal. The Raiders are looking for a home after the city of Oakland sued the team and the NFL over the planned move to Vegas in 2020. The Raiders have no lease for 2019, and owner Mark Davis dropped out of negotiations with Oakland after the suit was filed in December. So the city of Oakland being stupid again, and that mayor there who's dumber than a box of rocks.
Yeah, cost them, again, the entire – well, they're still going to have the A's, but now they're going to have Oracle Arena and now the Coliseum. That's going to be vast because now the A's have – they're already in the development phase of building or at least getting away from the Coliseum. So now you're going to have two big old open places for nothing.
I know, but they're suing the Raiders again after, Al moved them out. And the lawsuit was frivolous.
Well, the city of Oakland's completely stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, again, you're losing the Warriors who are moving over to the Chase Center in San Francisco.
And no one's suing Golden State. They're let their lease run out at Oracle. No. They're out of there.
Well, again, they got a brand new home, and they're going to go back to where they originated in San Francisco. But, again, you're losing the Warriors, you're losing the Raiders. All you got is the A's, and the A's are not even
And the city
happy.
of Oakland should be ashamed of itself for offering those two pigsties out there. They haven't done anything to fix them up.
No, and they're pretty awful.
So here we go. The city of Oakland suing Mark Davis. So let's tick off Mark Davis, who says, I don't want to stay in your stinking Coliseum.
Well, as you say, tick off Mark Davis. Mark Davis doesn't care at this point because, again, he's got $1 billion stadium that's ready to be open in 2020.
It's not ready until 2020.
Okay, he's got a deal for 1 year. For 1 year.
Who wants him?
I don't know.
Well,
obviously the Giants are being more than welcome.
They're being accommodating. That's what they're being right now. But I don't like the move to San Francisco like you. And again, too, there's about 5,000 season ticket holders, and I can relate to this. And I say this story quite often. I said this to you before. My father, obviously, you never got to meet your grandfather, was on the season ticket waiting list for the Raiders. Mm-hmm. For like 7 years and never got a chance to get a season ticket because they were always sold out. And then we're talking during the Johnny Rouch, Johnny Madden days.
And there's still good crowds. Again, that is a sellout there at the Coliseum.
But I'm just saying, again, there's going to be 5,000 less seats at Oracle. 43,000 from 48,000 at the Coliseum.
I thought they could fit more there at the Coliseum. Especially how they set it out.
Either way, Nick, either way. So my point is, though, so there's going to be at least, let's just say for argument's sake, 5,000 guys. And you and me, we're season ticket holders. We may not have season tickets to go see the Raiders.
Again, obviously, the Raiders in Oakland and in the Bay Area right now are, again, this just adds on to what's happening right now with this franchise, with this team is, again, saying goodbye to Oakland. Well, the fans already knew that they were leaving. You had to deal with that, again, with the city not working well with them and not at least being accommodating. This is, if you are those 5,000 fans, you got to deal with it. And I wouldn't doubt a lot of fans at this point are probably
why should I have to deal with it? I still want to support my team. I want to be a season
Well, then those
ticket
fans
holder.
need to go to the city council, or at least they can go to that city and make their voices heard. But obviously, again, that city doesn't care.
That's right. The city doesn't care.
So, again, they don't care. And then fans just have to go, well, all right.
And so the Raiders are being sued by the city of Oakland. I guarantee you the Raiders are not going to lose this case.
No.
It just like Al Davis did not lose before. And again, you know, all you're doing is taking off the Raiders. They're never going to come back.
Oh, no, not at this point in time. They'll never.
And again, who's going to be the next person to leave out of the Oakland area? Pretty soon you're going to have no franchises in Oakland. You've run them all off.
Well, the A's have said that they're committed, but they have said, hey, city, we're not working with you. We're doing our own thing. So
that's right.
So, again, the A's will be there. Again, they are in the development phase of building that brand-new ballpark there, again, at least near Jack London Square and all that, kind of more downtown, away from the kind of rough area down there at the Coliseum. So the A's are going to be there, and that's going to be your only remaining franchise. Don't anticipate them bringing, the Oakland Seals back to play an Oracle for hockey or anything. All you got is baseball, and that's about it.
And who's going to move into the Oracle Arena?
No one.
You might get wrestling from the WWE maybe once a year.
If that, but
I got a concert in there.
I think it more so for especially those concerts. Again, why go there when you have a brand new $1 million facility in San Francisco now? Again, to attract those fans. Again, a larger at least population over there in the kind of West Bay area, who can go to the Chase Center. Why would you even go to the Oracle Arena? You might go there for maybe a house show, but hey, San Francisco's got this brand new arena. We haven't put on any events in San Francisco in however long, or at least since the Cow Palace has been irrelevant. But right now I think Oakland, it's a situation that is ugly, and it's only going to get more ugly.
It also boils down to this, and we'll get to the break here in just a moment. Again, the franchises that are there pretty much dictate policy. And if you don't like it, then don't have them there in the first place.
Well, they're not going to get bullied by a city.
Exactly. They are larger than life.
Yeah.
And they've got the fan support behind them.
Clearly.
This is what the goofball mayor of Oakland doesn't understand, is that the Raiders are bigger than her.
Well, yeah, and again, with them leaving Oakland, hey, Vegas, it's, a city that has not had football ever, other than UNLV Rebels, but again, not a whole lot of, or at least no one really cares about UNLV football at this point. But again, once that was announced, that whole city, other than supporting the Vegas Golden Knights, kind of turned into the silver and black of saying, yeah, we'll gladly jump on your bandwagon. Forget the Rams, forget the Chargers, all these kind of locale teams. Hey, Raiders. You're our team.
And look at the Warriors, too. The Warriors aren't the Oakland Warriors. They were, at one time, the San Francisco Warriors, and then they became the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I've never sported Oakland at all.
Never have said they are the Oakland Warriors. So their time has come and gone at the Oracle. The franchise is very well financed right now.
Yeah.
And they built a brand new facility. You don't think the city of San Francisco said, come on in? Now, San Francisco's got some problems. It has some external problems that it needs to clean up. I don't know if they will. But where the new facility is at, I would rather go there than go to the Oracle Arena.
Yeah.
And I know how to get to the Oracle Arena because I could take the Bay Area Rapid Transit from any part, whether it's the East Bay area or from my aunt and uncle's places over in San Leandro.
Hell, you can even take the Amtrak like I did from San Jose. But either way, though, it's still a rough area.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take my car and everything else.
Oh, no.
I would just take the BART and call it good. But
even that's questionable.
But see, the thing is, the city of Oakland is under this impression that, hey, you belong to us.
Yeah.
And they're dumber than a box of rocks.
Well, and I think the A's came out perfectly last year. And again, Dave Cavall, who again owner of the A's and owner of the San Jose Earthquakes, basically came out and said, "Hey, we're going to just pay off our lease, get out, and do our own thing, city."
Yeah. And to the city of Oakland, what are you doing? You're right now not the richest place in the world.
No.
You're part of California, which is being, everybody's being taxed to death. And all of a sudden now you're losing revenue from good paying teams.
I don't think they care.
Well, when their coffers start getting milked dry, they're going to start caring. And you know what? No one, and I'm going to tell you right now, Nick, no one is going to want to go play in Oakland.
No, not at this point.
Not with the current leadership that is there, not with the current governor that is in place in California. No one's going to want to play in Oakland. Trust me on that. We are going to take a timeout. We are well behind our break. We'll be back with more after these words on 1480 KRAE. In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131. The Saratoga Lions Club and the Platte Valley JCs, in partnership with the Carbon County Visitors Council, are proud to announce the third annual Saratoga Ski Joring Races at the Buck Springs Track in Saratoga, February 9th and 10th. Racer registration is Friday the 8th with races on Saturday and Sunday. This event is sanctioned by the Ski Joring USA. General admission to the races is $5 per person. Kids 12 and under are free. Buy your tickets at the gate. Chauncey Williams and the Younger Brothers Band will be performing live on Saturday night at the Platte Valley Community Center. Buy your tickets in advance. For more information, go to www.saratogaskijoring.com.
Nothing says, I love you, more than a gift from her favorite jewelry store, Burry Jewelers. Whether it's a Burry's Gold Rose diamond earring starting at less than $200 or a Burry's diamond for that Valentine's engagement, she'll know that you've put a great deal of thought into her Valentine's present with a very special gift of jewelry from her favorite jeweler, Burry's, 2206 Del Range. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 Saturday.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, mostly sunny and breezy. Expect a daytime high of 46, mostly cloudy for tonight, a low down to 22. Partly sunny for tomorrow. Expect a daytime high of 46, partly cloudy Tuesday night with a low down to 19. And for Wednesday, mostly cloudy with snow showers developing. Mainly in the afternoon, look for a daytime high of only 27 degrees.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. One more football note to wrap up on, and we want to welcome the newest members to the Hall of Fame. Tony Gonzalez, the great tight end who had great years with Kansas City and Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
He will be joined.
He's more known as a Chief. Again, Atlanta was just kind of,
Champ Bailey, former Bronco.
All right.
Ed Reed, Ty Law were also voted into the Hall Saturday, along with center Kevin Maui. Broncos owner Pat Bowlen finally has made it as a contributor, as did former Cowboys and NFL executive Gil Brandt, and defensive back you would not remember from the 1960s, Johnny Robinson. He was a senior selection. Johnny Robinson was a great defensive back way back in the, actually Super Bowls 1 and 2. He was a part of Super Bowl 1 and Super Bowl 3.
Right.
Four. That's the one they won. So anyway, Johnny Robinson will be inducted in the Hall. So long overdue, unfortunately, for Pat Bowlen. He will not be there, not be able to speak, but that was long overdue that he finally made it in as a contributor. So that's the one wrap-up that I have here on the National Football League. 1 week away. Pitchers and catchers.
10 days.
Well,
over a week.
Next Monday, Baseball Network is already starting spring training coverage. I love it.
Yeah, but it's 10 days. Oh.
All right. And speaking of baseball, Nolan Arenado has decided to skip arbitration.
Figure.
He and the Rockies got together on a one-year deal. How about it? $26 million.
Did we anticipate anything less? Again, at least 1 year, but I'm not surprised. Again, I didn't think the Rockies were, or at least Arenado was going to take it to arbitration, but hey, he got paid. He was looking for that kind of middle ground, and he certainly got it as what we anticipated for the Rockies, but it does still leave it open-ended of, I think this is a key year for the Rockies, for Arenado as well, of if it's a similar situation of what we've been seeing with the Rockies and making it back to the playoffs, hey, that's good for the franchise, that's good for the team. But again, if it's a situation where you got to play through a wild card game, they don't win the NL West, playing that wild card, whether it's home, on the road, and then have a pathetic kind of first-round appearance of what they did against Milwaukee, that's a situation where I think Arenado, I think this is that year that it's more so the Rockies need to impress Arenado and then Arenado needs to impress the Rockies.
And you might be absolutely right on that. That if I'm going to stay, you guys need to play as I do.
You need to commit, or at least show some commitment of saying that we want a winning nature. We want to make this team a World Series team. And I think that's the main concern right now for the Rockies, for Nolan Arenado, is this is a big season right now of, if they are not to get over that hump, finally win their first ever NOS division title, again, advance a little bit further, and I would say at least get to that, at least you need to get to the NLCS. I don't know how far you would need to take it. I wonder if for one, Nolan Arenado is at least get this franchise into the World Series. Maybe if that's pushing it a bit, but I think right now they need to do a lot better. They need to go a lot further in the playoffs.
Here's what's going to come back next season. Nolan's going to want a 5-year, $150 million deal.
If he does, even with the Rockies, though.
Well, that's what he's going to want. That's what he should demand. Because also, too, you've noticed that Harper hasn't signed, Machado hasn't signed,
yes,
and they were waiting. Donaldson got some big payday money, and Arenado got a big payday.
Yeah.
Okay. So now these guys have, someone to, go after. He's making this kind of scratch. I definitely am in that neighborhood.
All right.
But, the thing with Nolan Arenado, he's led by example. And I'm glad that he got the $26 million. But I guarantee you, and again, like you said, everything has to fall into place for Nolan to become a Rocky. Right now, the Rockies better look at 5 years and $150 million to keep Nolan Arenado.
Is that a franchise that's going to be willing to put up that kind of money?
If Nolan Arenado puts out the numbers that he has been putting out consistently.
Well, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but are the Rockies as a franchise, again, a team that is slowly getting out of the ranking of being dirt cheap, you wonder if they're going to be willing to put up that cash where, again, they've already spent it kind of frivolously for a pathetic bullpen of last year. Again, watching all that money kind of burn in front of them. But, again, it's a multitude of factors of, are they going to put up that money? Are they going to extend out a lengthy deal for him? But also, too, if the Rockies, I say, if they fail to make the playoffs, Arenado just goes, I'm testing free agency, I'm done here. I honestly believe that. But if they are to repeat, get back in the playoffs, not so much win the NL West, but again, it's a pathetic maybe 1-and-out at least series in the wild card or in the NLDS. I think that's also to another situation for Nolan Arenado that says, guys, hey, I'm kind of in the same vein right now as Bryce of going, this is fine and dandy, but I want to win.
Well, we'll have to wait and see after this season. We have to figure out where the Rockies wrap up the season at. But right now, Arenado got what he deserved, and I guarantee you,
he got what he deserved, and this is what was expected.
And to me, the way salaries are going north, and again, too, we got to keep an eye on the fact that the Rockies are making money. So they've got money not to burn. They got money to spend.
But again,
and they spend it in the right area. Nolan Arenado's the right area.
You thought they did last year, improving that bullpen, and again, it blew up in their faces.
Do you think they spent their money right on Ian Desmond? I don't think so.
No.
And that's teens of millions that he's making.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking, Arenado, $26 million, and he's delivered.
That's what I'm saying.
Season.
I'm just saying, are they going to be willing to put up that money where they've kind of frivolously spent and it's blown up in their faces? Again, a franchise that has been known to sit with an Oakland, not as bad as Oakland, but say, we're not the Giants, we're not the Dodgers, we're not the Yankees, we're not spending that kind of money. Are they going to? Are they going to open up that checkbook? Again, something we asked last year in the offseason. Well, they did. Again, the most expensive bullpen in all of MLB. That was good to see. But now here's the true test of, are you going to lock him down as your franchise player and get him the well-deserved money and lengthy contract that he does deserve? But again, it's up to both parties of, Rockies, are you willing? Arenado, are you willing as well?
And note to the Rockies, you want Arenado to stay next season for the 2020 campaign, 5-150. Start right there. All right, we need to do we want to do it now or do we want to take a timeout first?
Let's do it now.
All right, let's do it. We have some good stuff to give away. It was a great weekend, and I know Coach Breen is going to be high tomorrow when he comes in. I'm talking about high and excited because his Stampede played extremely well. 3 straight games. We'll let him get into that tomorrow. But we have more of the homestand continuing this weekend.
It's a lengthy homestand throughout this entire month of February. So at least coming up this weekend, 3-game homestand at the Cheyenne Ice and Event Center as the Stampede will play host to the Utah Outliers. The Utah Outliers right now the second place team in the Mountain Division of the Western States Hockey League. Right now for the Stampede, they are looking at the Steamboat Wranglers trying to vault them over to get into the Western States playoffs, which again are coming up very rapidly. So right now what we're doing today, and again thank you to all who at least commented, liked, shared our posts on the Facebook side on Wyoming Sports Talk Today's Facebook page. And if you have not, go like and follow it so you have notifications when we go live on air, any updates, any news that we pass along, anything and everything. Again, go over there, give us a like, give us a follow on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. So to all of you, thank you who did comment on that post, liked and shared it. What we are doing right now is I will be giving away tickets, a pair, to go see Friday's contest, February 8th, Cheyenne Stampede versus the Utah Outlier, 7:35 puck drop over there at the Ice and Event Center. Along with that, also, too, a pair of ticket vouchers to go see Wyoming Cowboys home contest, if you really want to. And also, too, 2 Chick-fil-A goodies to go see our friends over at the corner of Delrange and Windmill, only valid at that Chick-fil-A location at the corner of Delrange and Windmill. So out of the Fishbowl of Awesomeness, we'll choose today's winner as we will give away Saturday's pair tomorrow and Sunday's pair on Thursday, since we'll have LCCC basketball on Wednesday. So congratulations to, let's see here,
dun, 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 dun.
Kendra Rinker, Rinker, Rinker. So congratulations to you, Kendra. I will message you on the Facebook side of how you come by and pick up your tickets, as you are today's winner to go see the Cheyenne Stampede and the Utah Outliers this Friday at home, 7:35 puck drop at the Ice and Event Center.
Kendra Rinker, congratulations. We are appreciative that you...
all of those who are still, at least, again, on that post, all those comments, those likes, those shares, again, you have 3 ways to enter. You can still enter today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and even up to about maybe 4 o'clock on Thursday, because again, we will be giving away Saturday's pair tomorrow, and again, Sunday's pair prize pack on Thursday. So again, still opportunities for those who did not win today, or for those who still want to enter, still plenty of opportunities.
Yes, and thank you again to Mark Lance at the Stampede for giving us those giveaways. Also to Doreen and Cindy over at Chick-fil-A with all of the good eats as well, too. Let's see. What do we got going on here?
I'm going to take a timeout.
Do you want to take a timeout?
We got to.
All right, we got to take a timeout. We'll be right back with more after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
Did you know that in rural parts of Laramie County, electricity is inexpensive and reliable because of electric co-ops like High West Energy? As an electric co-op based in Pine Bluffs, High West Energy is owned by our customers who share in the profits. We serve 10,000 customers in 3 states, including 20 subdivisions surrounding Cheyenne and F.E. Warren Air Force Base. We have been providing low-cost, reliable electricity for over 75 years, keeping energy affordable for 75 years. HighWestEnergy.com. TownandCountry.com.
A Touchstone Energy partner.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Keystone Light or Ice, 30-pack of 12-ounce cans, $18.99. Bacardi Rum, Light, Dark, or Limon, 750 milliliter bottle, $9.99. And Dos Equis Lager, Amber, or Beers of Mexico, 12-pack of 12-ounce bottles or cans, $13.59. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit, so you can bank how you want when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
With the new year here, the fun and excitement gets even better at Wyoming Downs with 2 Cheyenne locations in the Cheyenne Plaza and at the Outlaw Saloon on the South Greeley Highway. You'll find new simulcasting games, including All Campus Jackpot, Cowboy Wilds, Jackpot Blaze, Splendor of the Sphinx, and a whole bunch more. Remember to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays, along with double points on Mondays, and also on Fridays and Saturdays, it's Mystery Moolah. So stop by today and visit Wyoming Downs in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Linkaway and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
Hello, this is Pastor Nathaniel Ensley with Blessed Hope Baptist Church in Burns, Wyoming, and I would like to invite you to listen to our weekly broadcast entitled Hope for Today, right here on 1480 KRAE, every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Our goal during each broadcast is to bring you a simple and short Bible truth that will be a help to you. Sure hope you can tune in. God bless you.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Why do we work all hours of the night? Head towards challenges instead of turning away, and work together to solve the toughest problems so you can enjoy the little things and all the big moments life has to offer. Tri-State and High West Energy. Brighter, stronger, better together.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned, full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We've got a busy basketball schedule here. We'll get to our schedule in a little bit, but looking at the NCAA schedule for the Cowboys and the Cowgirls, they'll have Air Force. Wyoming Pokes will be at Clune Arena Wednesday night.
Whoopty.
I just don't see things going well for them there.
Yeah.
And then the Lady Falcons will be at AA 6:30 Wednesday night. Cowboys on Saturday will have the Rams.
Yeah.
Rams will be in. Matter of fact, the Rams on Wednesday, correct me if I'm wrong, they got number 6 Nevada over at Clune Arena.
Sure.
But anyway, the Rams will be here Saturday, 12 noon.
You said the Rams. They play at Moby, not Clune?
I'm sorry, Rams play at Moby.
There you go.
They'll have the Wolfpack at Moby. 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, Cowgirls will be at Moby. to take on the Lady Rams.
And speaking of which as well, too, tomorrow coming up on Wyoming Sports Talk today, we will talk at least Wyoming Cowgirls basketball. We'll have head coach Joe Legursky on first thing out of the gates at 3 o'clock as we will talk about his 300th win and also see how the season's going and preview at least, again, the kind of Colorado series coming up for the Wyoming Cowgirls. Again, seeing the Air Force Lady Falcons and, again, the CSU Lady Rams this week. So looking forward to speaking with head coach Joe Legursky coming up tomorrow.
That's always a pleasure indeed to chat with him. He's always a fun guy to talk to. And again, congratulations, too, on 300 wins.
He got that however long ago, but again,
about a week
we haven't been able to.
We haven't been able to catch up because we've had other things going on.
We've had LCCC basketball.
And speaking of which, Wednesday we will be at the rack, double dipping again with the Lady Golden Eagles and the Golden Eagles, trying to rebound back.
After kind of rough go against at least the Casper teams. I think for the Lady Golden Eagles, they let that one go. Same could be said for the Golden Eagles. I think both teams let potential wins. Yeah,
I agree. And again, leading both these programs were leading top-tier programs at halftime. And the Lady Golden Eagles had a bigger lead than did the guys.
But I still give credit, though, for LCCC on the men's side, where, again, you're leading the number 12 ranked team in the nation at half by, I think they were up by, 8 points or so?
I thought they were up by 4. I thought it was
I thought they were up by a lot. I thought it was up to 8 at a point because it was.
I thought it was 43-39 at the intermission. I could be wrong.
I thought coming out the gates, Casper had an 8-0 run that eventually tied it back up for them.
Was it 48-40? Does that sound right then to you?
I think so. Because they had an 8-0 run that kind of shocked us coming out the gates where LCCC was flat. And, again, that was kind of the case for both teams at halftime where offense just died out and teams just looked kind of
you're right. It was 48-40 at half because on the ladies' side it was 43-39 with the Lady Golden Eagles. So
I remember.
No, I'm glad you did. I just know that both teams had very good first halves.
Oh, yeah.
And then melted about the same period. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even though the Lady Golden Eagles play 10-minute quarters, but it seemed like just a certain point there in that late third quarter, they faded, and then
I don't even think it was late in the third. It was more so of Casper came out strong out of the halftime. LCCC was flat, and again, that was both men and women. If you remember those games where it was something that I mentioned in both during the halftime of those games of LCCC in order to pick up these victories, they can't come out flat. Of like they've done in multiple games, you can't give up that edge to this Casper, at least either Casper squads, because they're gonna hurt you, and they did. And I think again what we saw in both the men and women it was the exact same games. It was the exact same play by LCCC.
That's exactly.
It was you came at halftime, you're leading, you had all this momentum, and then offense just went poof.
Laid an egg. And again, Coach Ficka was very, very poignant on his comments after the game. He says, for us to be, again, like a Sheridan or a Casper, we need to get bigger.
Yeah.
We need to get stronger. We need to get faster. Now, again, bigger doesn't necessarily mean 7'1" David Applegate.
Well, I was going to say, you already got that height.
What you need guys, and again, I'll throw a couple names out there. The Webster kid that we saw at Powell, the wide body guys, the strength guys. They're 6'7", they're 6'8". The Howell kid that was up there at Powell as well too.
Northwest, yeah.
I mean, these guys are strong, and even with the 6'7" frame, they still dominate board.
Well, because again, they are using that strength to get on side against. Again, no disrespect to Stefan or David. Again, they're lengthy, but they're very. Kind of stick-like figures almost essentially out there compared to these big guys.
They're lean, they're lanky.
And again, those big bodies are pushing away Stefan. They're pushing away at David Applegate to force them away on the inside.
And Hayden Collier is a no-show inside. I mean, they're muscling him in and out of there. So, Coach Ficka was absolutely – he nailed it on the head. So when they're out recruiting, they're going to look for that aircraft carrier type of kid.
And that's what they need.
And hopefully that kid will be available to them.
Every team that we've seen, and not at least we haven't seen Eastern Wyoming to see what they bring to the table. But, again, the Sheridans, top 25 program. Casper, top 25 program, flirting around top 10 in the nation. They have those big bodies. They have those guys who can run up and down pretty quickly, who can force their way on the inside, but also, too, are not afraid to take shots from kind of wherever on the court as well. But it was good efforts for one half, and then just
right. I don't think they're going to get this kind of kid, but I would say an Eric Oliver out of East.
Yeah,
he's built, and he's not afraid to go inside, but he also has a nice soft touch on his shot.
Yeah.
So
again, he's essentially what we saw with Elijah.
He's that strength kid that they need, and he's fast.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if he's going to be available to an LCCC. But bottom line is that would be one of the kind of kids. He's going to be about 6'4". Again, you need somebody maybe 3-4 inches taller than him that could help him out as well. So we have Lady Golden Eagles and the Golden Eagles matching up with the Lancers.
Yeah.
Of Eastern Wyoming out of Torrington. First time we're seeing them. I mean, we're already going around the second set here, and we even had a date with Eastern
and it doesn't
Wyoming.
get any easier for LCCC, especially on the women's side, where Lady Lancers were a top 25 program in the nation. They've kind of slipped out after having a little rough go of it here in Region 9 North. That's where majority of their, at least they've only got 5 losses, but they're same matchup of what we saw with Casper.
Who are they looking above at second place right now? The Lady Golden Eagles.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But overall record, though, they are at least a few better than LCCC at this point. Again, they match up. I think they have the exact same overall record as Casper with the Lady Thunderbirds, but again, they've had difficulties here in Region 9 North play. So they are mortal, again, against teams that LCCC has seen. So, again, interesting to at least see what happens. Again,
height-wise,
not a far road trip from Torrington either, so at least road trip's not going to be a
height-wise. On paper they match up well. Both teams match up well, and this should be a good contest. I like to see. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're averaging the Lady Lancers are averaging like about 80 points a game, so they could put the biscuit in the basket. Guys action. Again, the Lancers along with the Golden Eagles.
They're under a new head coach. They've had kind of a interesting. Again, they're floating around that middle of the pack as well too with LCCC. They, I think, a little bit.
They're a game behind, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a
right
game
now.
behind of LCCC. So again, still looking up to vault over. So again, the opportunity for the Lancers to at least get up higher in those standings and pull up that road to victory. So again, virtual unknowns, at least to us. We've not seen Eastern Wyoming. Coaches obviously scouted them, but
we know one kid on there that played at Cheyenne East last year, Nick Merich.
Yeah.
So we know he's 6'5", so we know that he will be. I don't know how many minutes he'll be in.
He's kind of played in spare minutes.
It's nice, again, a former Cheyenne East product. We got Mackenzie Fagerbush also from Cheyenne East on the floor as well too. So it'll be nice seeing some of the local kids out there this coming Thursday night. Then we're on the road Saturday.
How about Friday?
Well, no, but we're Saturday games.
Well, yeah,
with
Saturday games.
Lady Generals and the Generals.
Well, might as well just come out and say it as you're kind of floating around with it. But
just giving the schedule out.
Well, here's what's going to
No one
happen.
cares about my travel schedule.
Well, because it alters a few things for our broadcast here on KRAE with high school action coming up again. At least we'll be back at it. However, it will be one Chris Polton by himself on the radio side. So 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, as he'll bring to you by himself on the radio side, no visual, Campbell County taking on the East High Lady Thunderbirds and T-Birds. That is 6 and 7:30. They're live, at least live from the Thunderdome. So again, radio only broadcast for high school this at least week, because we have to travel that Friday afternoon up north with both the ladies and the men of LCCC as they will take on Sheridan, the Lady Generals and Generals. So unfortunately, I can't be in two places at the same time. So this time we're going to swap, where it'll be visual only for LCCC coming up this Saturday, as you'll only be able to watch it on Periscope and the 1480KRAE YouTube channel. No radio side for those LCCC broadcasts on Saturday. So again, those are 2 and 4 o'clock coming up this Saturday. So again, high school, radio only, LCCC on Saturday,
and
we'll visually only. But tomorrow, at least Wednesday, will be both radio and
I know. We got the word from our engineer today who looked at our unit that the city fried during Super Day as he pulled out all of the boards and said, ain't not going to happen. So
how come the city's not paying for a new one?
I know. I should send the bill to the city of Cheyenne. You owe me a new broadcast unit for your great generators that threw out a.
That was great audio.
I know, but they threw out that extra blip
Well, they were messing with plugs and whatnot to go, oh, let's go to this higher voltage.
Next thing you know, we got smoke coming out of our broadcast unit that we use for sports.
Yeah, without giving us any warning. But
thanks a lot. So we'll be sending you a bill.
Why not? You might as well.
No, I am. No, I am.
You better.
I'll pay for, but I still got to pay for it out of my pocket.
But either way though, might as well.
Yeah, we'll send it courtesy to the mayor. Mayor, write me a check.
Good.
Or pay me cash, either one.
She owes us.
All right, we need to roll out of here today. Thank you so much for joining us. First off, thank you to newly reinstated head coach Jim Gardner at LCCC for joining us talking about the LCCC soccer program and what transpired last week. Again, too, we had a lot of football to talk about, and we wrapped things up with our upcoming basketball schedule. Congratulations, Kendra Rinker.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you winning Stampede tickets. Don't burn those tickets. I'm telling you, Stampede, a lot of fun to watch.
Well, there was good crowds, especially Saturday, again, for the cancer awareness. Again, people are showing up. So, again, it is a good time out there. Again, good cause. And, again, so far, Stampede, a little bit of a winning streak right now.
Sherlock Holmes ×2, 8 until 9 tonight, and Suspense Theater from 9 until 10. That is our Golden Age of Radio Theater, the best of the 50s and 60s. Headed your way here in just a couple of moments. Nick Proetti wraps up the program by telling us what happened on this date in history.
This might be an easy one, but it's February 4th. We'll go back to the year 1991. Someone we've mentioned around Hall of Fame talks, or at least this entity... baseball decided this fate for this player.
Baseball decided this fate for this player. But Pete Rose was not going to be enshrined into the Hall?
Kind of. How about December or February? I think it's December. February 4th, 1991. Baseball's Hall of Fame board of directors vote 12-0 to bar Pete Rose due to his betting on games while as a player and a manager. So again, on this date, he was barred
from the Hall.
Yeah.